I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My parents lived with them both to the age of 8. Then they split, and myself and my 2 siblings, we lived with my father. I can recall, say about the 6th, 7th grade, he came to me and he goes, "Tracy, well, your older brother and your older sister, they pretty much used up all the money for college." And I'm like, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Well, if you want to go to college, you better get every A you can get and play every sport you can play." And that's exactly what I did. It was coming around that time for looking for colleges. And I always said I wanted to be the president of the United States. And that was just always my goal. And I said, well, how am I going to become the president of the United States? And I knew I needed to go to an Ivy League school. My track coach, who was also my guidance counselor, then brought up West Point. And he was telling me about, the school. I didn't really know that much about it. And when he started telling me about the honor code, a cadet will not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those who do. I knew that if I would graduate from a place like West Point, that I would be much better spiritually, physically, and mentally. No way I had thought about going that path, but it was presented to me, and the path was perfect, and I knew that that was the way that I was supposed to go. I was in my Spanish class when the first tower was struck. I mean, it was a moment in my life that I'll never forget. And I remember the somberness that just kind of came over the academy. And it went from us being, kids to everyone just growing up very fast. We were the entire, kind of get emotional about it, but our entire, just the entire academy, we really shift our focus. And we knew that upon graduating, it didn't matter, before everyone was, oh, I want to go to Germany, I want to go to Korea, I want to go here. Everyone was like, okay, I want to go where the action is. And so I had my opportunity to serve my country in Iraq. I was part of the surge. I left in April of 2007. And while I was there, I was in charge of communications. So I had the Baghdad, that was my main area of operations. But of course, we branched out quite a bit because it was an aviation brigade. So my job was to provide communications, phone, telephone, internet, various battle systems so that we could interface across the battle space. And I was there until July of 2008. To leave the military, that was one of the toughest decisions I had to make. I knew that if I stayed, I would continue to deploy. And being single, that was great. But I was getting married, and I wanted to have children. And that's why I made that decision to transition from the military into the civilian sector. But I did hold on to, the reserve. So I'm still part of the reserve. I'm a company commander for a reserve unit. So I still have that, that piece with me. But I'm now with Wal-Mart, and they're very big in leadership and developing. And those are things that resonated with me when I was looking for a job. So I went through the interviewing process and became a developmental store manager. It was a great training program. And it, within 7 months, I was a store manager. I see we're in business over here. I think the military did a great job with, this is what's got to happen. It has to happen, and it causes you to think outside of the box. Think just of other ways to complete that mission, to obtain that objective. And I take that same mindset into a store. There's so many things. You have your set criteria, things that have to happen throughout the day, but there's so much going on, within a store that you could say, oh, I couldn't get to it, but you learn how to manage around those things that happen. Also, the military taught me the importance of building strong teams. So definitely trusting your people, rewarding your people, and developing your people is something that I learned from the military, and it pays dividends, and it does in the civilian sector the same way. All right, great job. And I see that, on the civilian side, I'm seeing that transition, though, is happening more to where they're looking at leadership, when leadership is being valued much more than, in the past. And because you get more productivity, you'll get just a better product when you spend more focus on your people. And I see where corporate America is even making a bigger emphasis on that, and I think that's why you may see a lot of corporations going to military and bringing them, or ex-military, bringing them into their organization because of that leadership component. Into the future, I definitely cannot wait to have 2 children. And then as far as my job, I love Walmart, and I plan on staying with Walmart. And I mean, I'm shooting for the top, of course. Definitely shooting as high as I can go.